Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodeau, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Thank you for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And we're always very thankful and appreciative to get information and updates, especially from law enforcement, as we got this update from the Houma Police Department. And on October 9th, 2024, officers responded to several calls reporting multiple gunshots in the 400 block of Orgeron Street. Upon arrival, officers located approximately 25 spent casings near a residence. It was learned that stray bullets struck 2 vehicles and a residence, resulting in 1 minor injury. The incident is still in the early stages of investigation, but that investigation has led us to warrants for 2 individuals. The first is Jaden Woods, black male, date of birth 12/30/2003, for 1 count of illegal use of a weapon, which is a felony, and 1 count of aggravated criminal damage to property, also a felony. There's also a warrant for Kayshawn Taylor, black male, date of birth 12/14/2004, for those same charges, 1 count of illegal use of a weapon and 1 count of aggravated criminal damage to property. And anyone with information is encouraged to submit a tip anonymously through the Bayou Region Crime Stoppers by phone at 1-800-743-7433. Or you can do that online at www.crimestoppersbr.org. And tipsters could be eligible for a reward up to $1,000 in cash if that information leads to an arrest. Now, in other local news, we turn our attention to Commander Lonnie Cavalier of Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office. Commander, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks, Keith, for having us.
I appreciate it. Give us a little bit of the updates that we have. First one I have is Mr. Tyler James DeVille, 31 years old.
Yes, over this past weekend, detectives were dispatched to the residence of 6 females of Assumption Parish who had received very inappropriate electronic messages. Detectives initiated an investigation and were able to trace those messages to 167 Redwood Street in Libertyville. They obtained a search warrant on Tuesday for that residence and executed the search warrant and made contact with an individual by the name of James DeVille, 31 and 167 Redwood Street, Libertyville. During the course of the investigation, one of the female victims contacted Mr. DeVille and requested that he not send any more inappropriate photographs, which were very sexually explicit. And at that time, he made death threats against that victim. At the conclusion of the investigation, James DeVille was arrested and he was booked into the Assumption Parish jail on charges of 6 counts of cyber stalking, 6 counts of obscenity, 6 counts of improper telephone communication, and 2 counts of felony stalking. And he remains incarcerated in our facility without bond at this time.
We appreciate that. It's always disturbing to be able to see somebody who's pursuing someone even after they've asked them not to, even if they've had some relationship with inappropriate behavior. So thank you guys for getting this gentleman off the street. And we have a second one. Tell us a little bit about a traffic stop that took place also in Libertyville.
On Tuesday evening at Highway 1 in the Libertyville Bridge, a uniformed patrol deputy observed the occupants of a vehicle, 2 occupants of that vehicle. Neither one had seatbelts on. The deputy conducted a stop of that vehicle, made contact with the driver at that time, who was identified as Brandon Orland Baresia, 41 of Baton Rouge. During the investigation of the stop, deputies determined that Brescia did not have insurance on the vehicle. He was driving under a suspended driver's license, and the license plates on the vehicle had been switched. Due to the actions of the driver and the passenger, the deputies obtained consent to search the vehicle, and during that search, numerous doses of a Schedule II controlled dangerous substance was seized. As a result of the investigation, Mr. Brescia was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Jail on charges of prohibited acts, possession of a Schedule II controlled dangerous substance, insurance required, switched a license plate, driving under suspension, and no seatbelt. Additionally, we received a probation hold from the Louisiana Department of Corrections for Mr. Brescia, and he remains incarcerated in our facility in Napoleonville without bond.
Okay. And the gentleman there was with him, was cited for no seatbelt. So all of those other charges that we see were for Mr. Brandon, and then the passenger was cited for no seatbelt. Right.
That's correct. One female passenger was cited for no seatbelt.
Okay, gotcha. Well, and again, just being able to, sometimes these routine traffic stops warrant so much more, interestingly enough, not having a driver's license, switching the license plates for someone out of town who come into one of our areas, right?
Yeah, and those are all good indicators of a problem. And
right.
in this particular case, it panned out as usual. And that is part of our ICE team that conducted this stop. And that is basically what they do.
Yeah, and they do it very, very well. Commander, we thank you for your time as always. Thank you for the updates. Appreciate the good work y'all are doing over in Assumption Parish.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
Yes, sir. Look forward to seeing you soon. All right, guys, that will do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. Got a whole lot more Bayou time when we continue.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.